Realize on the other side of that break, I said the word here twice, but it's two different heres and not the national treasure type, here at the wall, spelled with two E's and such. So Virginia Tech was one of the most disappointing teams in all of college football in 2024. They really were. For me personally, and I think in Blacksburg amongst their fans, you'd get that same sentiment. I hope you'd be able to recognize that. The potential for Virginia Tech was right there. Schedule was manageable enough. You had the number one ranked returning production roster from a team that had a winning record the prior season, and the Hokies went out and in Brent Pry's third year finished 6-7. Come on. There used to be a segment back when ESPN cared about baseball on Baseball Tonight, pretty sure it was Baseball Tonight, called Come On Man. Maybe it was an NBA thing. I don't even recall at this point. It's all blending together. But you know what I'm talking about. There are a select few teams that I could apply this to for this past college football season. Virginia Tech's one of them. Ole Miss is another one. Come on, man. I mean, you got to be able to, at some point, get back to what they once were. Did you know that Virginia Tech once had a 17-year stretch in which they finished ranked inside the AP Top 25 in 15 of those years? Some of you might not, for the younger audience out there. But I see my demographic numbers. Plenty of you are older and remember that time. Well, here we are, and Virginia Tech is still trying to get back to it. Do you know how many games I predicted them to win? I had some spot on record predictions last year here on the show. Virginia Tech wasn't one of them. I was off by 4 games. I had them going 10-2. I thought they were ready to leap forward. Kyron Drones starting at quarterback again. It all went wrong. Many things went wrong, including but not limited to Kyron Drones' inability to stay healthy. But they were 88th in total offense. Yeah, they should have been a lot better than that. They just weren't. So, you may or may not know, hence why you listen to the show, because I gather these sorts of data points, they've got a new offensive coordinator in there. And at his last stop, it didn't go very well. Philip Montgomery is his name, who was a hot name in the coaching circuit. He had Tulsa once upon a time in the American Conference Championship game. That's not something that you say very often in the world of college football. But alas, he did it. And so Montgomery gets inserted after a brief stint in the UFL. Before that, where was he? The Auburn Tigers. Yeah, that didn't go exceptionally great. Was it him? Was it Hugh Freeze? Was it just not the right situation? Well, we might find out this year. Now, Virginia Tech doesn't have the same sort of experience-laden roster that they had from a season ago. But there are times where having a relatively low returning production metric, according to Bill Connolly at ESPN, is actually an advantage for some teams. Going into last year, who had a high returning production metric? Oklahoma State. You know who I thought had been overrated all season long in 2023? Oklahoma State. So when they were bringing back so much of their roster, I thought, that's not a good thing. I would have rather they tore it down to the roots and built up something new. Oklahoma State struggled, by the way. I didn't see 3-9 coming. That's not a Mike Gundy sort of thing. But hey, he and Kyle Whittingham were both under 500. So, I mean, what can happen in college football, really? Virginia Tech brings back just 54% of their returning production from a year ago. That's 77th nationally. You compare that to 2024 going into the year, one of the reasons people like me thought, hey, this team should be good, is they had a winning record the year before. Their quarterback's there. You know who that's going to be. He's got a lot of potential. And you're first in the country bringing back 86% of your returning production? Why didn't it go well? Yeah, the Kyron Drones injury was a part of it, but the issues predated when that started to rise up. So the offense has to be better. You don't bring in a new offensive coordinator if you don't think that the offense wasn't where it should have been the year before. And Kyron Drones last year, 61% completion guy. Can it just be 65? That's all I'm looking for. Not asking for the high-end Heisman level. Dylan Gabriel last season at Oregon, 73%. somewhere in that range. Like, I'm not looking for that. But for Virginia Tech to take a step forward, they've got to be more productive. Kyron Drones has to be more consistent, and he just has to be better. He just has to be able to operate an offense where he's in the mid-60s-ish from a completion percentage standpoint. So Virginia Tech's win total going into next year, according to our friends at FanDuel, is 6.5 games. I believe it was 8.5 last year, and I liked the over. And now they have regressed by 2 wins in FanDuel's eyes. That's not great. Interesting portal note. They are a -3 net in the transfer portal for Brent Pry and company. They have 19 players coming in, 22 going out. Now, here's the interesting thing. I have long been a fan of coaches and staffs, teams, programs, however you look at it, that go out and attack their weaknesses in a really aggressive way. Virginia Tech must like what they have in-house. Because if I tell you the offense was a struggle, 88th in total offense last year with a guy whose skill set resembles that of Lenoris Sellers at South Carolina, if I tell you that, you'd think, well, they probably went and overhauled their entire roster on offense, right? No, not really. Not in this portal class. 19 incoming transfers, 22 going out, hence the -3. But just 8 of the 19 incoming newcomers, that was too many syllables. Let me try that again. 8 of the 19 incoming transfers for Virginia Tech are on the offensive side of the ball. How many of those guys do you think play running back? Keep in mind, Bayshul Tootin, their 1,000-yard rusher of this past season and from 2022 as well, he's not there anymore. He's graduated, going to try his luck at the old NFL thing. Where exactly would you put the over/under on how many running backs Virginia Tech brought in via the portal this cycle? They lost their top guy. This is a run-heavy offense, or at least it should be when it's operating correctly. How many? I bet you took the under. Or you put a number. They took 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs via the portal. I've never seen it before. I have not in my life, in my entire time covering college football, which is several years at this point, or even following college football, have I seen a team go, you know what? We're losing this guy at running back and he's important. Let's bring in 4 guys. 4 guys. Oh, boy. I'm going to say one of them will wind up being Virginia Tech's most important transfer. I'm not going to say who that is. I don't know who it is. I don't even know if Virginia Tech knows who that's going to be. Someone's going to emerge as the lead back. Maybe it'll be a full-on running back by committee. We'll just have to wait and see. Might be fun. But for those in Blacksburg, that's what I'm looking for. You lose a bell cow. Are you about to just completely change your running back philosophy? Are you going to be able to get the same level of production? I don't know. But their win total is 6.5. Couple of interesting games. They open with, who? Oh, that's right, South Carolina. You could see a lot of running from quarterbacks in that game. I imagine South Carolina is going to be a sizable favorite. It's played in Atlanta, neutral site, because why in the world play a game on campus and set up a home and home where each team gets a home game when you could, I don't know, play in a neutral site? I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. But that's something that we do in college football. So August 31st, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, fascinating game. Because if Virginia Tech has found a new formula to win at a high level and take that next step that the fans have been waiting for a very long time, you'll know, because South Carolina is going to be good. But those 2 quarterbacks, you're going to think the same guys on the field sometimes when you watch them go, assuming they're both healthy going into that game, which I believe they should be, or hopefully they should be. I don't want to jinx anything here. But Kyron Drones, Lenoris Sellers, those guys can move. But Virginia Tech gets a second go-around with Vanderbilt, 2 teams out of the SEC, because why not, I guess. They do not play Clemson in their ACC slate. They do, however, play at Georgia Tech. They have to go at Florida State, who will be much improved. They have to play Miami, and they have to go at Virginia this year. And they have to play Louisville. So maybe they haven't actually regressed by 2 wins from a team standpoint in the eyes of FanDuel, and they just have a tougher schedule. Maybe. Just throwing it out there. But Virginia Tech is someone who can absolutely build themselves up to be an ACC contender, I don't know that that's going to happen this year. I hope, for the sake of those in Blacksburg, Virginia, and the surrounding areas who don that Virginia Tech color, that they are able to.